This is the day that like I'm using to do. This is like my off day.
Right.
Everything else.
To do everything else.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're 18 minutes late. Better late than never. Sorry about that. To whoever's hanging out, or whatever. You know, it's all good. Sorry for being late. Just some technical difficulties.
I was driving from Long Beach to LA, and I saw some people fighting on the freeway.
Jesus Christ!
But dude swinging a golf club from like 10 yards away and still like backing up.
What?
It was the craziest thing ever. It was like shit you see on like those home video shows. It's like how are you swinging a golf club and still running away?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The guy's not chasing you. The guy's like walking after you, like pointing at you and yelling and shit.
Hey, do me a favor, because these dudes said they might want to hop on. Mm-hmm. Go in the Discord. Can you go in the Discord on your phone in the chat and just type at everyone and just let them know we're live? In case those dudes want to hang with us while we do this, you should be able to. I can't do anything in Discord right now.
So go where?
Just go to the general chat in the Discord server and just tag at everyone. It'll tag everybody and just tell them we're live. Because they might pop in. A couple of the podcast dudes might pop in and say what up, see what's up.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, all that good stuff. So we obviously missed doing the last round because we're stupid. We didn't plan that out right. So now we're here. But yeah, better late than never. That should be the title of the stream. Better late than never. Period.
That would be that. Yeah.
Doing a double header that close to Thanksgiving.
That's sketchy.
That's a little sketchy. That's a little tight for everybody, and it just didn't work out for us, unfortunately. But here we are. And there were some cool events. I took a lot of notes. We're probably gonna do something a little sketchy and just show some shit. I wrote some timestamps down. Just to kind of show what's up. Why do I have to sign?
To be honest, I'm still not caught up on. Like, I started to watch it the other night, and
it was a lot.
I don't even know how long I got through it before.
It's Chris.
I passed out.
What up, Chris? What's up, dude?
Chris.
There he goes.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Man, it's so good to have another chocolate man on the show podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We just...
Somebody else with hair like you.
We just fucking got started, and this is where we're at. Oh, God.
Alex should know how this feels. Like, whenever we would hang out, like, whenever I'd find another black person at these parties Alex would take me to, he'd be like, all right, well, I've lost Jamal for the evening. Like, he's gone.
It's true, though. Like, that's a really good point. Why is my camera frozen?
It looked like you're at work.
Oh, yeah, I'm at work.
I don't even know what you do, but it looked like you're at work.
I'll be back with
I'm
that.
hella cheating right now.
You're
pretty
what?
dead right now.
Why is that? Oh, never mind. They can't. Can they see this?
Oh, okay.
We're gonna turn that off.
See you.
We're gonna turn off this screen share because it's trying to share my Apple ID password right now.
Oops.
Brilliant.
Are you streaming it on the podcast or on right here, or do we have to watch it on YouTube?
No, it's on YouTube. Yeah, you can hang on YouTube. We're just like, everything's kind of giving me a hard time right now, so I'm trying to get everything set up, which is cool. It's being a lot more difficult than last time, but that's technology, brother. You know, that's how it goes.
I hope none of this is recorded, right?
Everything is being recorded. This is already live on the internet.
Well, I mean, God, dude. You're just wasting these people's time.
What? There's one dude watching right now, and it's probably Chris, so it's fine. There we go. So this is now.
That's how bad it is. You have to get involved.
And it's like this all the time with Alex.
Fuck off. No, it's not. You wouldn't even know what to do without me. I do
things.
everything, fuckers.
That's-
All right, no, I'm
Okay,
kidding. I'm just giving him a hard time. I'm just fucking giving him a hard time. So, there. Hey, look. Now we're all back to being big boys.
Same size.
Same size. Everybody's the same size. We're all good. We're all gravy. Nobody knows my password, so everything's great.
Wow.
We're doing great. I have my notes up now too, so I can see what the fuck is up. Chris, you don't know a whole lot about drifting, right? Don't really know too much.
I know you hit the sliding thing.
Wait, what?
He says he knows you hit the slidey thing, and it does the other thing, and that's basically the extent of it.
You grip and rip it, right?
Yeah, grip. You do
Grip
in
and
fact
rip it, yeah.
grip and rip it. Oh, it sends all of my notes. That's fucking
You
weird.
gotta go left to go right.
All right, let's get started. Irwindale Raceway. Least interesting chat. Least interesting track now. Because I wasn't
Is it?
I'm not super hot on it. This is probably endemic to.
Wait, hold.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Least interesting track? Like, how do you come off?
All right, let me explain to you, Jamal, how I come off.
This better be good.
I come off in this sense. It's everything that I dislike about Formula Drift. It's 3 fast banks, one sort of inside clipping point where people kind of yeah, and they just it's like a super fast Manji is all it is, right? It's not like a real clip. It's just I went left and I went right and I'm back left and we're just gonna fucking. And then that part, I mean, that it's obviously they're fucking booking. They're doing 90 miles an hour through that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So they're cooking, but you don't need to be that fast to be entertaining. And I wish that most of these tracks have one inside clipping point all season, right? Irwindale has 2. Fine. The second one is kind of a hit or miss anyway because it's coming off of a big bank and it just so happens that you would have to pass.
That's a bad idea. The second one's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's probably that section of the track is probably the most entertaining section of the track, coming off of the second outside zone.
It was entertaining back when you had it as that wasn't an inside clip, and you just had to ride that wall. Because remember,
yeah, but do you remember how that track used to be? The
outside clip was right by the finish line.
Do you remember how that track used
to the whole track and then biff it on the finish line? Just snatch the whole rear end off.
I am totally cool with them slowing these motherfuckers down by 20 miles an hour and having real technical sections of the course, very tight, entertaining There's no tight corners anymore. Everything's a big open it's 3,000 pounds at 90 miles an hour sideways, right? Which is and
because everybody's rocking 1,000 horsepower.
But that's endemic to the track design. If you did,
no, because Irwindale's been around since the beginning.
I understand that, but if you look at, it was interesting in the fact of how fast it was, right? But now it's what's the other fucking track with the ridiculous? We just watched Seattle. Seattle has the dumbest bank.
You're right.
It's long as shit, right? It's it feels like it's a mile long. It feels like they're just sideways against this bank wall for a mile.
Like a freeway on ramp.
Yeah, exactly. What? Half your tires are gone by the time you initiate into the next corner. Dude, that's it. You shredded them on that whole entry. And it's it's just, it's just not super interesting. And I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up so you can see. I'm going to do...
Well,
I'm going to do... What's
right?
up?
It's got to do with the entertainment factor, right?
People hot, nasty, badass speed.
Right.
So I'm just gonna go
I'm
to the.
I'm not even sure if it's that entertaining because with that second inside clip now, they come off that bank super hot. That's why the first inside clip is just a speed manji, and then you flick it back towards that outside wall. that's your outside clip, and usually they just ride that out, and
Yeah.
that's where it's like, okay, that's super entertaining. It's like, okay, cool, he got where he was supposed to be, and now he can gun it and end up wherever he ends up, as long as he's sideways when he crosses the finish line. Now it's like, oh, after you hit this outside wall, now we're gonna have you come back inside, literally like 30 yards, 40 yards down track, like not even that far, and have them come all the way back to the inside of a hairpin to clip the inside.
So if for everybody who didn't,
it doesn't look good.
Listen, this is if you watch my stream right now, my screen share, this is the first round of top 16 in round 7, right? So this is Gittin versus Jonathan Castro. Okay. Let me unmute this.
They're going to leave that start chicane. Are we going to get a clean start? Yes, sir, we do. All right, let's go into that first outside zone. Oh, look at that Vaughn Ginn Jr.
So first of all, Vaughn's doing what Vaughn does here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. Castro trying to massage it, just backing it up. You can hear the backup sensors going off.
I gotta turn that down.
Jesus.
Big bank. Now transition that second outside zone, outside bank.
Mind you, they're fucking hauling ass right now.
Yeah, so they used to just fly off that.
Now coming to that outside zone, you can see the judges, good job on laying down some.
But like, it's just not.
And here we go.
It's not that interesting. It's just like not that interesting of a track. Like there was some cool moments during the next couple of like. There was some cool moments in some of these runs, but like none were like, I don't know, none were that cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't think. I just don't think it was that there. Let me correct that. When you had like Denova had a crazy chase in round 8, and like whatever, I can show that shit later. Like some of those moments were sick, but like I don't know, man. Like I'm just kind of, and maybe it's just too many events back to back, twice at the same location every round, right? But it just doesn't.
You're getting drift event overload.
Maybe, or like, but I don't know. I'm ready for a change in the sport. I'm ready for them to slow it down a little bit. I'm ready for it to get a little bit more technical. I think it is very much becoming a drag race sideways. Especially like this round, you would see like, dude, who the fuck did Vaughn? Like, was it Jeff Jones? Did Vaughn Ginn just gap the fuck out of him? He was like 3 bus lengths ahead of him coming out of the shit, right? Because it's
ridiculous.
A 300 horsepower difference. It's like Jeff Jones can't. You are not even in a position to be competitive.
Dang.
Yeah, well, it's like now you're so far behind the ball. You're going to give up a bunch of angle, especially in Irwindale. You're giving up angle in a sketchy ass section, and everybody can tell when you're giving up angle because you're 5 feet farther down on the bank, almost straight. Versus this dude's dragging ass up against the wall, right? Like flying. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm hoping to be competitive in the back half of the course now. Maybe. But I have to give up the whole first half of my run just to even get close to make something out of the second, right?
They used to be okay with that.
I know, but they're still okay with it. I mean,
back in the day, like Takayama, remember in the 8-6, like he would just drive the whole bank. He would just drifting, like he would just drive the whole bank, initiate right at that last like. Where it comes off the bank, he'd initiate right behind you, then he'd mind you, and he'd just be on you the whole rest of the time.
Yeah. No, I get it.
He never really made it far at Irwindale, but it was still back then, when they didn't have 1,000 horsepower. It was more exciting because it was like, okay, you could tell, like, he's really pushing that car.
Yeah, especially that 86, dude, because he was like, fuck, that thing made like 300 horsepower maybe with nitrous. Like, you know what I mean? It was just such an
all of them. Yeah, exactly. But like all of them, and that was at his last. That was his last hurrah with that, was when he threw nitrous at it, because he was rocking it at like 2-something for forever.
Going up against Vipers and shit in fucking 86, right? And
exactly.
It's
But that was back when nobody was pushing a crazy horsepower number, so to get around Irwindale, you really had to commit and go for it. So when you came off that bank, that inside manji, like when you threw it, you snapped it back really fast because it was like, okay, that wall is coming, and I don't need to just be out here floating. As to where now where they have 1,000 horsepower, it's like,
what are you gonna do? What are you really gonna do? You know, it's just one of those things
flying through the bank, but everything else is just kind of let the car.
And I think like, they didn't used to start that bank in Irwindale as far back as they used as that, right? Like they used to start way closer to the actual start of the curve. Because it feels like they're fucking back there now, dude. You know what I mean? Like they get it feels like they get almost an 8th mile run up to that motherfucker just to be able to initiate. I might be off base. I might be wrong, but it feels like.
You mean how far the run up is
before the initiation?
They're starting off damn near at the other bank, like the bank on
the
other
basically
side.
at the end of the 8th mile course.
Yeah, they used to start at the middle.
Exactly. So they're whatever somebody who does math. I can't think right now, but yeah. And in a car that, like, these motherfuckers hit 60 in, like, 3 seconds or some stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're not drag cars, but they're all fast as fuck. They're all 9-second cars. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're not hurting for any kind of acceleration or anything like that. So, I don't know. It's just, that was just a really early impression when I was watching it. I got, like, dude, in top 16 of round 7, my first note is 45 minutes into the round. Like, that's how little I gave a fuck about what was going on, right? And it's Rad Dan, who's been in this shit forever, chokes against Adam LZ, and Adam LZ is in Odie's borrowed car. Like, you know what
again?
I mean? Yeah. Check this out. Adam LZ couldn't get the 15 running, so he's driving Odie's 14 from last year that he's never driven.
So I did watch that event. Okay, I watched that event.
Yeah.
I watched that one.
And so it's like,
that's how much these just smashing together. I thought that was like an event that happened so long ago.
Yeah, no, everything's on top of each other. But yeah, right. And
LG's never driven this. Rad Dan just totally
overcooked it, dude.
He's never been to the show before.
Yeah, it was entertaining to watch because I was like, this fucking guy, like. If you spend half as much time practicing as you did perfecting your mullet, like he's got a sick car, dude. Like I
know you were going to that
because it's like, dude, he's had that mullet for so long. Like let's just let it go, bro. He's one of those. He's like one of those.
Mullet's had him.
He's one of those fighters that's all personality and no punch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude has got the biggest mouth. And he's like, he just glass jaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I mean,
mohawks and tattoos.
And obnoxious. I mean, his Supra is tight. I like his Supra. I like that car. I like that he drives the Supra.
I do too.
Yeah. But it's just.
He seems like he's really, like, he's not a bad driver.
No, I think it's just, it's very.
I feel like when he came out, people kind of thought he might be like the American Mad Mike.
Yeah, I can see that. But Mad Mike's fucking super talented.
So yeah, when he came out, like you were under the impression that Rad Dan was crazy talented, which he is, but he's just not competition talent.
There is a difference. That's a fair point. Well, here let's just watch the round. If I can, is this it right here? Let's see. Oh, we got it. Yeah, they're slanging F-150s. Everybody needs to know they're slanging F-150s.
Everybody get yourself an F-150.
Everybody get yourself an F-150.
Built for it too.
Yeah. Wasn't it Tundras? It was somewhere. Fucking Tundras in fucking
right
Seattle.
Here somewhere in America.
I mean, listen, we can't like get pissed at them for becoming a legitimate motorsport, or at least trying to, right? So whatever. All right, so check this out. Check. This is Rad Dan's run.
The Tundra that was pulling the.
Remember, if you haven't joined the AEM virtual fan
so this is Odie's car from last year.
People are hanging out, so DM
and the car that Rad Dan's been in for literally, it feels like his entire FG.
It is super loud in my ears.
Is it? All right.
Second half of this
better.
battle, lights extinguished.
Yeah, that's better.
Leaves the start line. Here we go. Dan Burkett, LZ in the chase position.
And here's the thing too. Look, LZ is like, he's not even in there.
And Dan Burkett, great angle from him. You can see him powering away from LZ and now into that second outside zone.
So like, he's pretty golden here, right? He's got it.
And now here comes
Yeah.
LZ
He's chilling. Like he should be big chilling. Should be. Nailed it.
Deanda.
Yeah, peanut butter jelly time, Jared Deanda. So he's cool, right? Lead runs tight. He's good to go. Nothing crazy. Did I skip too much?
I can kill the audio.
I don't know. There it is. There's his chase run.
Yeah, he totally just
Biffed it.
At the end too. At the end.
You're good.
At the end.
Like you're
doing?
you're totally chilling. And so I don't know. That was just one of those things where it's like, really, dog, you should be better than this. We should be able to expect more out of you than this at this point. Especially when we're talking. I mean, but I get it. Why is that still coming through? Adam LZ is a great driver, and I do honestly believe that.
Great? He's a good driver.
Considering how...
He's a good driver.
Listen.
He's a good driver. We're not going to give the kid great.
When you consider the fact that...
We can give him Rookie of the Year. But
we're going to give him Rookie of the Year. But I want you to take... Okay, let me rephrase this shit.
Great.
He has the ability to be a great driver. He has the potential to be a great driver. He does. To see how far that this kid has come in one season of Pro 1 and one of the toughest seasons of Pro Run because it's just been a fucking gauntlet. It's head-to-heads, right? Double headers every weekend. Beating the shit out of your car.
He's taking total advantage of what he could have with this situation.
Smartest move if he ever like actually wanted to be an FD driver. Like, this is a fucking genius move. Oh, everybody's fucked and behind the ball. Well, I guess I'm in the same position as everybody now. At least the playing field's even. Right?
2 for ones?
Yeah, exactly. I only have to drive to half as many events. Exactly, right? So, and obviously he's got his huge YouTube following, so he can pull the sponsors. It's cool, whatever, right? So, like, that's tight. I think that when you watch this, especially, like, his battles in round 8, when he's back in the 15, like, he looked fucking good, dude. He looked good. His lines were clean. He was throwing tons of smoke. He was fast as fuck. He was keeping up with the... And you got to remember, like, what I've really noticed, too, is you can tell when the OGs drive Urbandale and when the new guys drive Urbandale. Because the OGs drive Urbandale and they throw it against the wall, right? Like, you just...
You can tell right at the bank.
Yeah. Who knows what's going on? And especially when they do it in chase runs. Because that's the one thing I've noticed a lot, too, is that a lot of the, like, Taylor Hall and all these guys, they go super shallow on their chase runs, and then their lead runs, they're, like, dragging the wall. They don't know how hard to throw it and not hit the guy in front of them, right? Like, they don't know how to, like... Something's not there. Yeah.
Initiation at the wall behind the other guy. Yeah.
Well, you can see it in, like, there was a couple of times Osmo surged real hard and almost made contact. Like, Gucci did it, almost hit somebody, 3 times. Dude, we'll get to it. Vaughn put himself in the wall twice in the same weekend. He did it in the championship round 2 as well. So, like, in top 16. Oh, no, he put it top 4, I think. But he runs into the wall, sideswipes the wall. So, like, Turk getting twice. Odie did it. Like, you can fuck that entry up. It's fast, and it's a big commitment, right? But then you look at the dudes, you have your Jeff Joneses, you have your Taylor Halls, you have your, who's that? Travis Reeder, which I really like Travis Reeder's car, by the way. I like Big Red a lot. They just, you can, what? It's a clean S13 that looks like a 3rd gen Mero, because he has, like, the...
I know. It's not bad at all.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's a little... I don't know. It's cool. It's cool that there's so many weird matchups, but at the same time, it's like you can totally tell when the OGs are going to be able to pull away in a big fashion. Did you see Osbo versus Carney in round 7?
I want to say I did. I feel like that's a battle I remember watching.
So let me ask, if I ask you this question, I'll know if you've seen it. Do you think Osbo flopped against Carney?
Oh. Play it again.
All right, let's bring it up. This is going to be the longest stream ever.
I think he did.
I think he flopped. I think
I think he did.
and I think it sets a
I think when I
shitty.
was watching it, I was like, "What are you doing?"
I think it sets a shitty precedent. That's okay. So that's still LZ.
That's how you know drifting is becoming a legitimate sport.
When
you're
people are
flopping.
flopping, you have Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Oh great! Now YouTube's like, why are you moving my fucking slider so much?
Flopping in the car.
Okay, here we go. So this is a run. Mind you, I also really love Carney's car, but I think it's just too much in general. There's also some super good looking cars in Formula D now.
I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Okay. You can turn the stream volume down, but okay.
Definitely want to take a different look at this as Dean Carney spins out.
So, you can definitely tell when Carney hit the car and when it unsettled it. Like, that for sure happened. You can see it. But the way that he just stayed out for so long, right? And it's like,
I think at that point he just kind of gave up on that inside clip. He was just like, I'm just not gonna even attempt that inside clip.
right? But
so
that's what
he
I'm
was gonna take the hit and then stay wide and then just probably attack that next one super fast as he was coming off wide, and it left the door wide open. And Dean Carney was like, all right, well. I'm gonna get there.
It's tough, right? Because you
it's hard to say what he was thinking or what. It looks weird because he got
like,
back in it, so it's like you.
But did he? But what I'm saying is like, did he have? Osbo's fucking smart, right? Like we know that Osbo's smart. He plays that kind of game. He has played that kind of game in the past, right? Like, well, like use the rule book, right? You always use the rule book and fight the rule book to the best of your ability. You can see when he's unsettled, but it seems like the car is like, it's not out of control. It's set, right? No. It's just kind of carrying a trajectory. He's not making crazy adjustments to the wheel. It seems like it's sliding in a very predictable manner. And it appeared to me that he had probably like a 5 to 10 foot range where he could have got back on it and cut into that clip, right? Into that inside clip. And it seems like he just didn't because he's like, this motherfucker hit me. Right? So I'm going to stay wide because he hit
like
me.
It was...
And see if he fucks up, right? He's going to stay... I'm going to stay wide if he hits me. He's in front of me. Right? Because he pushed me and he stayed on. So I'm out here. He's right there. I have two options. I assume that he's going to brake and run it. Or I just stay wide and let him hang himself. I'm going to stay wide and let him hang himself. He's not slowing down, right? Because Carney's got a heavy fucking right foot, and he just like, fuck him.
I think you're right. I think he made a business decision, took the hit, and I think he may have like just let it ride to see how unsettled his car would be. If it like, because was he in championship contention?
No. He was like,
no, not even close.
I think he was like 5th going into this round. Because Denofa
was 7th round or 8th.
This was 7th round. Denofa was in front of him. Forsberg was in front of him. Turk was in front of him. Gittin was obviously in front of him. Yeah, so he was at least 5th.
So he could have still tried to get a podium though.
The gap was too close, I think, in the top 4 guys. Like Forsberg got knocked out, and then that was like the top 3. The people didn't change. It's just Denofa got 2nd over Turk or something like that. It's basically it just flipped that.
Right.
Yeah. But Vaughn was in front because stayed in front. Well, Turk helped him a lot in that, and we'll get to that. But so yeah, it was just one of those things where, he wasn't really It wasn't really anything. He probably just wanted better point standing. Obviously, you want to end the season in the best possible
as high
position.
As you can,
Yeah.
Especially coming off with a new car, you don't want to make it seem like.
And he's done well. I mean, there's a couple of times he missed top 16. He's a couple of times he missed top 16, right? So it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been a perfect season, but it doesn't seem like. I mean, again, it's a new chassis. It's a brand new chassis for these guys, right?
Yeah.
So and especially when you're coming out of a car like he had before. It's not, you had the little fucking Corolla, and now you go to something like this. It's completely different, but I thought he kind of threw it.
I think he made a business decision. He waited to see what was going to happen. Is this dude going to cut off, and I can just cut off and drive away and get the advantage because he hit me.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'll take. I got another round tomorrow. Like, is it worth fighting Dean fucking Carney, who's just as likely to wreck me as he is to help me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna let it fucking.
Right, because next thing you know, here goes Dean Carney shooting for my inside clip.
Yeah. Or locks up and his ass comes around because he's trying to let me in, and then he ends up tapping me on the fucking way in, and it's just the whole thing. Now I lost my front left suspension, and it's a whole other fucking bunch of bullshit, right?
That's not a tap.
Yeah.
His rear end comes around. That's not a tap. It's like a sledgehammer swing.
It's a big ass car. Yeah. And then he loses a tire. Carney loses a tire. That's basically why he spins on the back end anyway. So it's like the whole fucking thing was fucked. So yeah, I mean, that tire could have gone through Osmo's car. Who knows, dude? Like, who fucking knows?
Passenger seat.
Yeah. Who fucking knows, dude? Jeff Jones. And this is kind of jumping ahead to next round. Jeff Jones gets a fourth place finish in round 8. He gets into top 16 again in round 7. He's had a strong season for a dude with not like a crazy funded program. He's not a factory back car. He's sponsored by Edelbrock and like some other CX Racing or some shit, right? Like,
yeah,
he doesn't carry. I mean,
ships, Racing, BC,
the usual suspects, right? Like he's not,
right.
he's not like paying for his program, but like he's probably not really getting paid by his program either. You know what I mean? Like, he gets to compete is really what it is, right? But
yeah, that's probably what it all boils down to.
But when you
put in just enough to keep the car running, he's got his own.
He's got an engine sponsor. He's got a tire sponsor. He's got, you know what I mean? Look, he's in good shape. He doesn't have a chassis sponsor, but he's got Edelbrock will feed him engine parts and all that kind of shit, right? So he's doing all right. Does he deserve, like, I feel like the dude, his time has come. Like, I feel like he's been around forever, right? Jeff Jones has been in the sport.
That's not how things work.
No, but I mean, like, I think that he's starting to perform at a higher level, and I think that a couple of these matches that he lost, he was undergunned, he was underpowered, he doesn't have the setup right, but I think that I don't know.
So I feel like telling me you think Jeff Jones wins the championship?
No, I don't think so. But I think you give him 2 years, and he might at least finish with a third place. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, I'm not saying he's going to be FD champ, but I'm saying like he might have a trophy at the end of the season for something. You know what I mean? And
doesn't he usually get like Spirit of Drift or something?
Yeah, always, dude. Yeah, he's like he gets the fucking what's the fucking. Like, not a participation award, but like, you did a good job, buddy. You know what
I mean? No, because I feel like the Drift Awards are a little bit like, they're not really participation awards. It's like, what was his name? Forrest Wayne used to win like the Style Award, like the biggest Style Award or like at least 2 years in a row. JTP got it 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah, and JTP is another one of those guys. JTP is like a one step above Jeff Jones.
I think Spirit of Drift is. I think the Spirit of Drift award is like that person who's like an ambassador for drifting. Like they help out everybody. Like they're always there to like kind of that guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you.
But yeah, they hardly win champion.
Yeah, they're just dudes trying to like do something they love.
Chris Paul.
Wow. That is a hot take. That's a fucking hot take, bro. Right there, Chris. You said Chris Paul.
What? Chris Paul's good.
Lakers damn near sued the NBA because of Chris Paul. He should be like, Chris Paul. One
it
second.
all worked out in the end.
It did. It all worked out in the end. I don't know. It's just I don't know, man. It was just kind of a thing I was thinking while I was watching this dude. Like, it'd be cool to see a dude like that move up. The last dude that did it was Chelsea Denofa, right? Denofa was the last guy who came out of like pretty small sponsorships into a bigger ride through RTR and all that shit. Basically, Vaughn gave him a ride, for lack of a better term, right? But after him, nobody's really kind of moved. Like, you can be there's Pro 2 and there's Pro 1, and then there's like the dudes who are really competing in Pro 1, and then there's the dudes who are like in Pro 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's always the same.
I'm sitting here trying to think, like, who is the last guy who just kind of
nobody. You have you have the two guys that are pushing the new Mustangs, the Shelby Mustangs. What's that fucking guy's name?
Travis Reeder.
No. Yeah, Reeder, but Reeder's been driving the fucking.
No, not Reeder. Reeder's drives the
S13, yeah.
The S13.
That's round 7.
Trenton Beecham. Is that his name? Trenton Beecham.
1 second. I'm trying to find Nairn. Jonathan Nairn. He drives a blue Shelby Mustang.
Right.
But that car competed in like one event, and then he's been driving his S14 the rest of the season. His Pro 2 S14. Right. So yeah, it would just be cool to see that there is there's like a path through the sport to get to a higher sponsor team, just because the sport is still so small, and like there's not a lot of that big.
It seems like that door closed real fast.
Yeah, there's like the dudes who made it in 15 years ago, and Chelsea Denofa, and like that. It's the Drift Alliance dudes and Chelsea Denofa up there, and Frederick Osbo, right? Who basically just replaced Samuel Huguenet, if we really call it what it is. And I mean, Ken Gushi's been hanging around, but he's had a ride forever. And again, he wasn't a DA dude, but he was an OG Formula Drift driver, right? So,
right,
Dio Shihara, which Dai's car is still fucking sick, but yeah, it's just, but it's the same fucking dude. And then you had Daigo, but he was new to FD, but he was not new to professional drifting.
He was not new to
at all.
No, he was on record in Japan as the fastest drifter.
And same thing with like James Dean and Peter Wycheck, right? Like those dudes didn't compete in FD, but they were not new to the sport at all.
Well, James Dean did compete in FD.
Oh, that's right. He competed fucking years ago.
Yeah, he competed in
That's
FD,
right.
And then he went
left,
back.
And then he came back with the Warehouse dudes.
Came back a beat. Yeah, came back a monster.
Oh, that's right. He had this set. Didn't he have the like twin turbo S14?
Back in the day.
Yeah, that was his shit, or the Falcon one, right?
Yeah, because it was him. Oh God, that's when Falcon sponsored everyone. They had a fucking soccer.
It was nuts.
Or at least like a small battle. Yeah, they had a basketball.
They owned a small village.
They had Drift Alliance. They had Daijiro Yoshihara.
They had a ton of dudes.
Yeah, they had Ross Petty, Darren McNamara.
Oh, fucking Ross Petty and Darren McNamara. That's right, Ross. We talked about this. Ross Petty had the fucking I Smoke Weed S14.
Yeah.
So you had Field versus Denofa. Denofa takes it. I honestly thought that battle was going to be more interesting than it was, and it wasn't.
Matt Field versus Chelsea.
Yeah,
Denofa.
I just wasn't.
I feel like that was around the time I started to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I was
Um.
wait. Yeah. Because I did too. I remember I sat up for that battle and was like,
This is not
you
that.
guys just both kind of.
All right. Here is Osbo, Kearney go. You know, they finish out. Obviously, Osbo gets the win because Kearney fucking trash panded it. All right, here it is. So this is Matt Field. Yeah, Matt Field takes a competition timeout because he thinks he's losing power after his chase run. Has a strong lead run. It's not enough. Don't know if it takes it. Whatever. Right. This is the moment, in my opinion. This is the moment where Ryan Turk hands the championship to Von Gittin Jr. All right.
Now he's got Old Red. His S13 will be going against Ryan Turk, currently second in points, only 8 behind Von Gittin Jr. And Ryan Turk, again, talking about how he keeps his composure with Laurent Nickel, thinking about his wife Shannon and his brothers, including one of which is brother. You got Justin, Evan, and his pops. Captain Turk over there, live free or die. That's their motto. Travis Reeder from the Pacific Northwest, a great addition to the Formula Drift family. He's really just developed over the years as a great driver from Pro 2 into Pro, making history last year, and now here he is behind the wheel of Old Red. You see Ryan Turk again, just a lot of shaking going on in that cockpit, man. Yeah, he is chomping. Oh boy. All right, here we go. Camera's off, no big deal. Here we go. Ryan Turk, that gum out, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Initiate into the bank. Big angle there. Oh, he unwinds. And goes hard in the wall.
Oh my
Ryan,
gosh.
Huge mistake.
Let's give a little context to this. Both Travis Reeder and Ryan.
So long and short of it is he fucking bips it. Says so as much in his post race interview with Lorette. She's like, you know, so sorry. Obviously, we're done for the day because that little car, you put that fucker in a wall like that. Like, you hit both axles. You know what I mean? And he just says he fucked up. He's like,
no mechanical issue or
no,
anything,
he's like, it went in. He goes, the track was a little looser than I expected. I initiated super aggressive and I wasn't ready for it. And he just puts it in a wall. He's like, I tried to get out of it. He's like, obviously the turn is going in the wrong direction to help you out because it's coming in and you're going towards it. And he couldn't get out of it. He then goes on to say that his team had just spent the last 3 hours putting a new engine in the car. And then he puts it in a wall. So he's like, gut it, right? That's it. And when we get to round 8 here shortly, you'll see why I say that's the moment. Because he's obviously behind the ball. He just lost the round. He's done, right? He's done in top 16. He can't compete anymore. And then he now has to thrash a car back together. Not super thrash. He has until the next day, but that's a lot of fatigue on a race team, right? You're pushing.
Cars.
Yeah, Papadakis is running 2 cars, right? Osbo's having hit. You know, he gets hit by Carney, right? They're also fucking thrashing together the Corolla, putting the engine back in it, and now this happens, right? So like he's behind the ball, kind of going into it, and that'll play in later. So Turk, take himself out. We go into top 8 around 7. It was too easy. Turk gets Turk. Come on, like you can't.
Yeah,
it's fucking it's right there. Von Gittin Jr. absolutely bullies Taylor Hall. Like, this is he gaps the fuck at watch.
Treats him like a child.
It's so fucking funny to watch. There's the finish of the Matt Field Denofa. Did they one more time? They may have one more. Matt Field and Chelsea Denofa may have one more time. Then I completely forgot about it because that's how uninteresting that battle was. Oh no, he took a comp timeout. My bad. Yeah, so Turk's done. Travis Reeder takes his bye run. Whatever, right? All right, here we go. This shit, dog. We might as well wait because it's playing an ad. So I might as well just wait. I'm not going to let Raid Shadow Legends get free advertisement on our channel. All right. Here we go.
Something to be said about going up against a former champ, a points leader, and just, looking at the track record, literally, Taylor Hull probably has some confidence in trusting driving with a driver of that caliber as opposed to somebody he's never driven against before. So here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr., Taylor Hull, our first battle of the Link ECU, grade 8. Here we go into that first bank. Look at that thing just pulling away on him as the Type S lights illuminate that big bank. Taylor Hull just not part of the equation now as Vaughn Gittin Jr., 2010 champion, current points leader, would love to win again. He has 2 wins already in the bag, and that was that doubleheader victory in Seattle. Ryan Taylor Hull just...
that poor son of a bitch never had a chance.
But that's what do you expect at Irwindale? Like Irwindale is one of the tracks where that happens because, like we were saying earlier, dudes like Taylor Hall, guys that haven't been there for a while, they're not comfortable
chasing
attacking that first bank. Yeah. So if you're Vaughn Gittin Jr., where it's like, you built Irwindale.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Just gonna walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not even gonna make this a competitive. Like, I'm not even gonna give you a chance to hit me or anything like that. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, absolutely not. And it's just, but that's like exactly what I was talking about. He runs. Hull is fucked, dude. Your chase run is officially fucked. You're 300 horsepower down.
Straight through.
Yeah, I'm 300 horsepower down.
Noticed.
Yeah, like it's done. Like it's fucking done. You know what I mean? So what do? You lead and you pray to God that he fucks up. Because Vaughn is like Chelsea in the sense that sometimes they're their own worst enemy. It's kind of like a running joke, even with the announcers at this point, right? Like, just don't do it to yourself and you're fucking fine, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's Vaughn Gittin Jr. Like, this dude's he built that car. His company manufactures that car, right? Like, he fucking knows what's going on. So, it was just fun to watch. That was an interesting race just because it's like, it almost felt like he was like, all right, kid, cool it. Everybody thinks you're hot shit. Let me show you what's up real quick, right? Because Taylor Hull's been getting...
the next Vaughn.
Nah, he's been getting talked up. He's been getting talked up this season. He's had some good runs. Not without controversy in the offseason, which we will again get into in a second. Round 8, there was a lot of fucking shit that went round 8. Yeah, and it was just one of those things where it was cool. It was fun to watch. It was funny. It was funny to see, like, kind of like put him in his place, that kind of shit, whatever. LZ can't.
You almost felt like there was something a little bit something to that.
Like Gittin had something to prove, right?
Taylor Hall was his opponent. He was like, oh yeah.
Nah, listen,
I'm about to do something.
I ain't won a ship in 10 years. This fucking asshole's got intimidator fucking livery going on his Cadillac. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I here right now? You know
he's out here in a Cadillac.
Right, he's out damn near in a privateer car, and I'm over here. Yeah, fuck this shit. So he's just like, send him to Gapplebee's real quick. Do what it do. LZ can't catch a fucking break. Battles Osbo for the 57th time this fucking season in Odie Bakshi's 2019 car. Goes as expected. Osbo's perfect because he's when Osbo's on, he's fucking on, right? So it is what it is. This was interesting.
I do feel like LZ had a good lead run though.
He did have a good lead run. But Osbo had a better lead run.
He couldn't really keep up on the chase.
And Osbo had a really strong chase run as well. So it's all good. Listen, if you're Adam LZ, you've been literally hanging with the big dogs all season. Getting Forsberg your first match in round 1, like you've just been getting put through the fucking gauntlet. But it's probably done a lot for his driving.
Definitely has, especially like he's been catching. He's gotten the opportunity to run these events back to back. So it's like, the first day you come out here, you're getting your ass kicked, and then you get to run it back the next day.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get to do it again, right? You get to get that practice. And these are...
It's not like, all right, well, I got beat. well, we'll run this back, in a
Yeah,
couple
let's
of
try.
months at the next event.
Right,
It's like,
exactly.
no, you're
Like,
doing
when
this
can I
again
get my
tomorrow.
car down here for fucking Friday? Saturday slides at Irwindale. Like, never. I'm in Florida. Like, I'm never gonna fucking be back here, dude. And so yeah, I think it was great.
I'll get my rematch next year, maybe.
I think that was. I think that's like one of the more exciting parts of the season is seeing somebody like that. Who, especially because like people like Adam LZ from his channel, right? They know who he is, they know what he's about.
I think that might be an interesting way that they might have to start running these events. Because
Really?
like you see people. Since drifting is almost like a playoff kind of situation, like you're one and done. Like you lose, you're done for the day. Like that's it.
That's true.
You're gone for the day.
Yeah, you went out this
So
round.
Sometimes you want to see people get that chance. It's like, man, like Matt Field. It's like, like, dude, I feel like Matt Field would have had a good day at this track. Like, if they were running this again tomorrow, like,
he may have had
it. Those kind of people.
I get what you're
like
saying.
Frederick Oswald. Frederick Oswald fucks up at round 7. He's coming in hot round 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's in trouble.
Right.
But
they never get that moment.
Instead of like 2 months away, it's like,
yeah. The car, it's a little bit more scrappy. But it is definitely interesting. I think that's why people like Drift Week, which still pisses me off.
What?
Drift Week, that it's a thing. Okay, this is gonna sound like a super fucking sour grapes moment, but to anybody who actually watches this, Jamal and I came up with Drift Week 10 fucking years ago, and we're too broke to do anything about it. Like, we were too fucking poor and didn't know enough people and didn't have enough clout because there's the drag race and drag week. There's drag week, and drag week's been around for a million years, right? And I was like, dude, we should do drag week with drift cars.
That's what I used to be into.
Yeah, but it was like drag week. It was like, dude, we should do drag week with drift cars. Like, that'd be tight. Just fucking drive around, thrash and bash, and fucking do whatever.
Just hit the events we want to go to.
Right, and then I had a kid, and whatever, and we never. We're broke. We're fucking broke, right? We're not dudes like Lone Star Drift where they fucking have clout and they have all this shit and they can put the shit together. So there's a little bit of sour grapes moment, but at the same time, I'm happy for the community that something that we also thought was cool is now like a big part of the community. Like, that's tight.
Really happening.
Right, and it's cool, and people get into it and build sick ass cars like Hertz fucking GS 300 that he took out there. I wish he would paint his cars a different color. So I'm tired of looking at that shit. But that car's tight.
Oh, that burnt orange?
Yeah, but it's a 2J. It's a fucking 600 horsepower 2J GS 300. Like, I can't really
everything about the car I like except for the color.
That's it. And that's personal preference. So, and
except for the color,
he's made a huge commitment to Dragon Ball Z as Bay, and he's just gonna fucking ride that shit out forever. So, good on you for having an aesthetic. This was the first interesting chase run.
I thought that was
what?
That was pizza cheese orange.
Oh, it may be. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. This is the first interesting chase run, I think, from the whole event. And it's Chelsea DeNofa chasing Travis Reeder. Chelsea had the lead run first. Did a Chelsea run when he's not trying to break his car. Did a great job. He did a great job, right? And I mean, he's going against Travis Reeder, who's again not a slouch, but not exactly competing at the same level.
Into the final four if he wants to beat Chelsea DeNofa.
Yeah, he's really going to need to throw it down and do something really sensational. That X factor. Bring it, but he knows that Chelsea. All right, looks like Michael S. is strapping in. He is ready to throw down. But right now, eyes are on Travis Reeder and DeNofa. The Type S title fight. Reeder initiates into the bank. DeNofa, you can see pedaling back a little bit, but now jumps up. Mimicking the exact angle is DeNofa. Past the front clip. Really well done. I believe DeNofa may be playing it cool, but now, no, he does not. Zero chill. Right there on the side of the S13, that is Old Red. Chelsea DeNofa, ready to rowdy. Saying, hey, how you doing? Staying out of the cold, staying out of the smoke?
Yeah, that was a bit of a Hulk smash there.
Can we please make Jared Deanda stop talking?
What the fuck?
And then Ryan Sage doubles down with that was a Hulk smash.
Rowdy.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah,
that's
Ready to
Denofa.
Rowdy
That's
and-
Denofa's fault.
and-
That's Denofa's fault. Denofa said that because JR always says ready to rock. He's like, oh, we're RTR ready to rowdy because we don't want to do the same thing that Vaughn's doing. It's really lame. It makes me cringe inside. I die a little bit.
Yeah, that's
inside.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
then Hulk smash. That was a bit of a Hulk smash.
No,
there.
it wasn't.
Here.
Nobody's ever said
No, it
that
wasn't.
as a thing ever. Ryan Sage,
He
get
didn't
fucked.
hit him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the fucking point of that statement was. But I was like, that's a good chase run. That was fun to watch. That was aggressive to see him fucking
not a
door to
bad
door.
chase run at all.
No. And that was like the best chase run of the event up until that point, which says a lot about round 7 in general.
It's really sad because Irwindale, beautiful for chase run.
The same reason why I dislike the layout now is the same reason why it's amazing for chase runs. Very consistent corners, right? Just long sweeping corners, so you can get in proximity, you can get close, and you can hold it for a really long time. That's very visually exciting, right? Like they're just two cars banging limiter, smoke going everywhere, door to door. It's fucking sick. Top 4. Michael Essa, to this point, has not had to compete against anyone. Forsberg's car didn't make.
Showed up.
He just showed
gotten in his car.
Yeah.
We're still competing. Oh, okay.
Forsberg popped an engine, right?
Right.
He popped a VR
using the backup car
in the next round. He didn't even have he couldn't get a car for that round. Period. He popped his engine the night before.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't get a car. So the 14 he runs in round 8. Can't remember who went out in. Oh, I think no, it wasn't Taguchi. Somebody fucking couldn't show up or whatever in top 8, so he gets a buy run there, and then he just moves on to top 4. Nothing but buy runs, baby.
Sometimes it be that way.
Chelsea fucks up. Chelsea fucks up, and Chelsea's it. Denofa goes on to the championship battle. Michael Essa, with a busted car and the littlest amount of effort possible, makes it into the contention for championship of round 7, because that's drifting, baby. Ginn versus Osbo wasn't the cleanest run, period. Wasn't like, but it is, in my opinion, what I would like to see a lot more of from FD. And I will, there it is. So we can get into this shit.
And we got a clean start. No cones were hit. Vaughn Jr. initiates. High on the back. Oh, Vaughn Jr.
Yeah, I remember this.
Stays in it. Hit it to win it. Past that first front clip in that transition into that lower bank. Let's see how they handle it. Vaughn throwing some more angle into it. Nitto Tire filling Irwindale Speedway. Back into that final outside zone. And look at this, Ryan. Well done. And, to be honest, quite expected from these two.
Go on.
Looks like Gloria's doing dash.
Children, what a blessing. It was a good run. It was a good round. It was.
I mean, there was from that run with Vaughn leading. That was a good run. I can't remember what the switch positions looked like, but
it was a good run. It goes OMT.
I was gonna say, if it was as consistent as that, I could see it going one more.
Yeah, it goes OMT. Gitten takes it, and we move on to the championship. Now, what happens next is the biggest display of not giving a fuck that I have ever seen in any motorsport ever. It's Gitten versus Denofa for third place. Okay. And there's a race the next day. Okay? So let me bring this up so you can see what it is I'm talking about. Because the
These two
exact...
act like this is like everything's settled and this is round 8.
I literally wrote down, there's a race tomorrow? Question mark? Like, really? Are you sure? Are you sure there's a race tomorrow? Because it doesn't fucking seem like it, the way these motherfuckers
Seems
drive.
like these two are out there in their demo cars.
Just watch, dude.
We're
It's...
supposed to see it in Seattle. We're supposed to see it prior to that, and now here it is once again. Come on, boys, keep it clean and throw it against the, not the wall. All right, what do you guys think of the Mustang
Not the wall.
Bros here? We got Paco. Go ahead and keep it going. Let's get a wave going. Put your
Also, are you
hands
not
up.
drinking? Because what the
So my
fuck?
guys can see. There we go. Get a wave going. There you go. Hey, this guy is losing his arm. Look at it. He's a magic man.
I like the dog
Yeah, you...
with the right hand.
Listen,
Dog's getting, that looks like your dog a little bit, right?
I didn't fast forward enough. Whatever.
All right,
I'm
we
not
got
fixing it now.
I like Brent Haycraft and them. They got a nice little setup here. And Formula Derp still in the building. Thanks for joining us, John. Getting prepped, ready to rip.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry, my bad.
In the chase position. Who's getting third place? How it's going to shape up? Let's find out.
What's the Vegas odds on a full pull?
Low.
What's the
Okay,
Vegas
your
odds on a
odds
full
fucking
pull?
sure
That's funny,
shit.
though.
Higher tier 5. Yeah. You want a clean run? Here we go. I don't know. These guys, they know to throw down, but they got to race on Sunday again. They got to run. Here we go. All right, so keeping it high. There's Vaughn getting your tapping. There goes Chelsea. He's following him up. Like I told you, their bumper budget into that outside zone. They are throwing a brick on it. Chelsea Nope was talking about hard to... Oh, doctor, look at this. Chelsea making his presence felt. All RTR. Ready to rip. Solid. Come on, put your hands up,
What I'm
fans.
talking about.
Go back to the next one. Sorry, I didn't realize my mic
Yeah,
was
there
up.
you go.
We'll go back to the other one. I'm just letting it run in the background so it catches up. Why are you doing that? Why are you running that hard against your fucking teammate? Like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
Why are you running that hard against your boss?
It's almost
Who's in
like, so like,
championship contention tomorrow.
like I said, Denofa had just put it out and fucked up, right? Against Essa, who had a hurt car. And it was almost like
Do
Gitten
you
was
think
talking...
that they
Maybe he was talking shit in the pits, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you had that shit. Like, why are we here? Why, you know what I mean? Like,
maybe, or is he just like, hey, like, we might not get this opportunity to go against each other this season, so whatever.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their relationship's like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. They hang out, but they're always like any press event. They're always very separate and shit. So you don't really get a good.
Yeah, they have their own crews and all that kind of stuff. Like,
But I don't know if like
crews
I don't know
and
how much Vaughn likes Chelsea or I don't know. I'm gonna assume they're homies.
yeah. If anything, I think if anything, they may have like a
Friendly
relationship is
rival.
competitive. Yeah, competitive.
I would say so. Also, you didn't answer my question. Are you not drinking anything?
Yeah, I am, but my beer is out, so I'd have to get up and go back to the kitchen.
There's two things we do on
hold
this
on,
channel.
Hold on. Do not shake your head because the last show we did, every one more time you had to.
That's fair. Fine.
Yeah.
I'll fucking.
So I'm gonna get up and go. You entertain the person, whoever.
There's two people. We're building a
Alright.
base here. This is building a base. We appreciate the people
Yeah.
watching. Don't be a fucking asshole to them, motherfucker.
Look, I'm not. I'm even doing it in a nice space. I'm doing this at my girl's house, so it's all like function shit in the background. It looks all nice.
And nobody realizes that I live in the back of my fucking Subaru. Get your beer before this next one because I need you to see this. I'm gonna do some
Pause
shout.
that shit.
I am. I got you. I'm lying to him. I don't have him. To everybody watching, to everybody who has watched, I'm not going to go as far as to, actually I will post in comments. Thank you guys for checking this out. This is some shit, that that we think could eventually be a whole lot of fun. Obviously, we're small, we're starting, we're getting there. You know, we're doing some cool things on the channel with Mike's GTRs coming up and just everything in general. But we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us, while we talk shit and talk shit about the stuff that we love. You know, there's a lot of like regular ass car guys out there, and we want to hang out with you guys, man. We want you guys to be a part of the show. So the more you interact, the more we appreciate it. And we'll probably keep making this stupid shit if you guys watch it or not. So, you know, here we are. Yep, it's weird when it's one person. I could never do a podcast by myself. We also want to know if you guys like the drift shit. We're going to have Jamal on the podcast the next episode to go through the sport. It's something he and I have been huge fans of forever. So, you know, we want to cover more of it. And we live close to tracks and shit, so we could check out some cool small events and stuff. So let us know. Let us know about that.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm back.
Check this shit out. Check this shit out.
Oh, second run for these two RTR gentlemen. Chelsea Denofa out front. Von Gittin Jr. in the chase position. All Ford, all Ditto, all RTR. Chelsea Denofa initiating time in the bank. Look at that. Von
Watch this.
Gets lost in the smoke. Von goes into the wall, and there we go. I told you it was going to be low.
Keep an eye on Chelsea.
And yeah, Chelsea does need to complete the entirety of this run. He does have the lead run. So if he was in the chase, he wouldn't need to complete it, but Chelsea needs to finish this out in order to get this victory and a third place finish.
Well, let's go back to
Why?
What the actual fuck was the point of that?
Why? That's not I'm not trying to get an inactive run. I'm just trying to keep, I'm trying to beat you. That's doing too much.
I want to point out that because of this, right? Not simply because of this, but this added to the situation which was going into the first round of round 8, Vaughn did not have the win in the bag.
No.
Right? Now, granted, Turk's cards were stacked against him. I believe Turk had to win round 8 in total to take the championship. But had he, I believe, at least made it to third place, there was nothing Turk could have done, period, to win the championship. Right? He would have been just out of reach. I think he would have been like 8 or 12 points shy or some shit. But it would have been.
You got to keep yourself in it.
Right. Well, he would have had it. He would have gone into round 8 as the Formula D 2020 championship. But because he decides that he has to press Denofa so hard, and maybe because Denofa pressed him really hard. Like, Denofa had a great chase run. That was a great run.
Right.
It was a little ignorant. And you would think if you're running a race team, you just kind of give Chelsea the pep talk of like, you're going to come in fourth on this one. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're going to move.
Right.
Because that's what an F1 team would have done. That's what a NASCAR team would have won. Right? He's winning this year.
At some point in time during this race, yeah, they do.
Yeah, right? Like,
hit him on the radio like, hey, you're going to go ahead and take this L?
You're coming in fourth this season because, you know, Gittin will have this fucker in the bag and it'll do us both well and we'll see how you do next year.
Right.
Instead, they're like, fucking run it. Which, that's cool too. Like, I like that too. But it's like, from the standpoint of running a fucking race team, it's like, why would you let these two assholes go out here and go do this shit in front of all these people when the same companies are cutting the check for both? You know what I mean? I don't know. So that, to me...
Well, that's what happens when Von Gittin Jr. is your brand.
That's a really good point.
Jr. and Chelsea Denofa are your brand. You can't go out here and drive safe.
It's
you gotta be ready to rock.
It's
apparently
ready to rowdy.
Hell no.
That's rowdy. Lols. No, it is. It's just a thing of like, I get it, and you make a really good point because Vaughn and Chelsea are they're not like precision drivers to the same degree that like a Dai Yoshihara or a Frederick Osborne.
If this had been Frederick Osbo and Ryan Turek, they would have told one or the other, hey, look, this guy is championship contention.
You're taking the L.
You're going to take the L. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
But my point, to add to your point and to kind of add validity to your point about the team and the brand itself, like, this is not a Forsberg, a Yoshihara. This is not a James Dean, those fucking razor accurate fucking dudes, right? This is all show, no go, or all vice versa, whatever.
All show.
Let's put it straight.
Sometimes too
Vaughn
much
Gittin
go.
Jr. is the Ricky Bobby of fucking the Ricky Bobby of four-wheeler drift, and I love him for it. Right?
He wants to go fast.
He's a regular ass dude. He's just kind of a, he's kind of goofy fucking dude who likes to go fast, go sideways, drive the shit out of his shit. He gets hyper fucking aggressive when he's driving. He wants to win, and sometimes too much. Sometimes he's his own worst enemy because of that. And Denofa's the same way, right? They're like, we're gonna fucking send it, bro. Like, whatever. I'm just gonna go in there and I got 1,100 bald eagles under the hood, brother, and we gonna let them sing. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And like, I like that. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Anyway, Denofa takes the dub. Gittin takes the wall. Osbo and Essa goes exactly how you fucking expect that one to go. Really not. You have Essa in a hurt E36 M3 that he's been driving for 4 years, and Frederick fucking Osbo in an 1,100 horsepower Supra, backed by Papadakis.
Like, is it me or am I tripping? Do I feel like I feel like Michael S's car is always hurt? Like every event, Michael Essa, like he pulls to the line, he's ready, and then he stops halfway through his run, calls 5 minutes. If he gets lucky, the other guy breaks down or does something stupid and he progresses. But it seems like every event, or maybe I'm just tripping, but I feel like every event, Michael S's car is hurt.
You have a really valid point. You have a really, really valid point about that. But I think it comes from, I've never heard of any of S's sponsors, ever. I've been into cars pretty much my entire life. And I've never, and granted, I'm not a BMW dude mainly because I can't fucking afford it. But like I can work on it myself, but I don't want to pay for the parts. You know what I mean? Like that shit is.
I don't want to work on a BMW.
Older BMWs aren't bad. Newer ones are kind of a shit show.
True.
Like an E46 isn't horrible. Well, no, it is. I have Vanos and all that other. Actually, fuck that.
E36 isn't horrible.
E36s, though, are basic enough to where you can strip all the BMW out of them, and you have a really nice chassis that you can put something that works into.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. E36s aren't horrible. Everybody I know with the E36, they make it seem like, no, dude, this is pretty easy. Like,
yeah,
everything's pretty simple.
There's not as much. It's a late '90s, early 2000s car. No, mid to late '90s car, and you can get all the BMW guts out of it relatively quickly. The tranny is actually, that's the ZF, right? That's the same one they put in the Z3s and shit. So like that tranny's pretty stout.
My buddy he just put a JZ motor in his, so
he put a JZ with a CD009 or what? Or did he keep that's, I mean,
he wasn't fucking around.
No, the BMW tranny is the case. That's the K-swap transmission, right? Because then you have your entire engine and transmission package is this big. You know what I mean? Like lengthwise, it's like that BMW tranny. I feel like it's like that's probably like that long, but that's when you consider it's a straight 4 and then a transmission. Like that's not. You can put that wherever. You put that wherever you want, dude.
You got some time to play. Yeah.
Well, I think the bell housing is like that, right? Like maybe a little bit. Whereas the CD09 is a bit of a bigger, so it fits in stuff better because
like a Neanderthal club.
Yeah, it just fits, right? Well, because it's like you put a CD009 in an S chassis.
Huge.
Yeah, gets the job done.
Run around knocking out dinosaurs, and it
gets the job done. But you can fit it in S chassis without having to hammer out the trans tunnel, which you have to do with a CD009. Which is not a huge thing, but it's just if you don't have to do. If it's stout and it's cheap and I can get it readily and I don't have to modify my chassis to put it in, like I'm gonna lean that way. And personally, like if it was me, 2J swaps are getting really expensive, and K series are still $800, and they make 500 horsepower without having to rebuild the bottom end, which is plenty for me. I'm sorry, I don't need 700 horsepower. I respect the dudes who can use that with precision. Just a better driver than I am.
I'm not one of those dudes.
You're a better driver than I am. And fucking good on you, champ. I'm just trying to have fun with my homies anyway. So fucking Honda parts, Garrett turbos, cheap transmissions, lightweight behind the front axle.
I'm trying to have a couple of beers, a couple of blunts.
Right, let's just fucking go out. Yeah,
shit my pants.
Right, go out, rip a few laps, have some fun, not break anything that's too expensive, and then sit back, drink, smoke, have a good day, go home. What'd you do today? I drifted all day, and it was rad, and it cost me $600 because I blew my engine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm about to go to sleep. I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, and we're good to go. Because I think, you can't even... 2J swaps are getting into the 5, 6, 7 grand. To the point where dudes are looking at that 400 horsepower twin-turbo VR30 engine, the new VR30 engine out of, like, the Q60s and shit, because that's becoming more cost-effective than 2J's. And that's a brand new engine.
Wow.
Lone Star has a whole video. There's a dude that went and did Drift Week in a VR30 swapped G35 sedan. G37, no, second gen G35, so the round body G35 sedan. And he's talking about all the shit they had to do to get it, the manual to work with CAN bus and all this other shit, right? And he's like, well, why'd you guys do this? And they're like, we need to figure out something else because like JZ swaps are too expensive. There needs to be a good alternative to LS swaps because I love a good LS swap, but they're boring. They are boring.
Yeah, everybody doesn't want to have an LS swap.
Yeah, not because they don't work or there's anything wrong with them. It's just, it's like it's too easy and it's not fun. And it's it's just, I'm a Chevy guy, but the Ford engines sound better. They just sound better. So it's not the most exciting sounding engine.
Yeah.
It's the perfect tool for the job that nobody wants to use anymore. It's like, right. I don't even know where the fuck we started this, but yeah. Anyway, going into round 8, and we'll get through round 8 faster for one main reason. And you didn't really watch round 8.
One of us watched it.
No, I actually watched I managed to watch all of round 7 and all of round 8 top 16 this morning. Commitment. You see what I do for both people that are watching? Do you see what I do for you guys? I sacrifice my time. You can speed watch FD because there's so much bullshit.
You better, because you owe me for, what was the other round? I stayed up to like 3 a.m. You texted me the morning of. He was like, hey, have you watched any of this? And I go, yeah, I was up to like 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I felt like it was the least I could do. Because especially when I texted you this morning, you're like, nah, I haven't watched it. Like, we got to get this done. We promised these.
I've just been so busy. Sure.
We promised this person that's watching that we would do this. So we're going to do it. Next year, we'll have it. Next year, it'll
be different.
We're going to promote this in a different way. We're going to make it a bigger thing. We're going to have more people join up. We're going to have a good time. And when you get on the pod the 15th, we're going to build a lot of steam around this because I think this is a cool format. I think this is, you have Maximum Drift.
The other podcast.
Yeah, you have Maximum Driftcast, which is interesting. But those dudes are on the inside. We're on the outside, right? Corey Hosford and Drift Idiot, they're on the inside of even Taco. He fucking owns 2F. Half of these motherfuckers run 2F body kits. Like, they're on the inside, right? Like, we're not on the inside.
We're talking shit from the outside.
Exactly, and I think there's a space for that, right? And we're obviously, like, it's not like fucking, I'm not getting James Dean on this podcast anytime soon, so. All right, so check this out. My note for round 8.
Uh-huh.
My first note for round 8 is this. Some of the best matchups in the entire season are in round 8, and it's a round that doesn't matter 15 minutes into it. And I'll explain that to you why. But I'm going to run you through the top 16
Well,
bracket.
I can figure out why.
I'll run you through the top 16 bracket real quick, okay? Ryan Turk and Jonathan Nairn. Ryan Turk's on a beat car from the day before. And Ryan Nairn and John Nairn's in his Pro 2 car that he's more comfortable in than the Mustang. It's a decent matchup. Chelsea Denofa and Michael Essa again.
Okay.
Michael Essa knows what Michael Essa is precise. Chelsea Denofa is not. Denofa is just as likely to fuck himself over as he is choking following Essa. Either way, so we're good there. Taylor Hall and Dylan Hughes. It's a very even. That's a very even matchup.
Yeah, that's a good matchup.
Kazuya Taguchi in the GTR powered S15, my favorite car in FD right now, versus Jeff Jones.
Oh,
It's a good matchup. Chris and Odie.
okay.
Chris in the borrowed S14.
Okay,
So he doesn't have the 1200 horsepower fucking Nissan to run away with it with, right?
good.
Von Gittin Jr. and Ryan Literal.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Chris is in a borrowed 14? I thought Chris used his
No,
demo car.
no, he's in a borrowed 14. As far as I know, the demo car also had a blown motor. Oh, no, yeah. I believe it also had a blown motor or some shit like that was going on. It was like he couldn't... That car was not going to be... At the end of the beginning of round 7, when Forsberg had to bow out, he was looking for a ride. And Ryan Sage goes, there's a couple of cars I know that are out there, because this is where FD has come to. There, you know where the competition-ready FD cars that aren't being competed in are, right? You know who owns them. You know, like, a lot of people don't know this. Taguchi's fucking S15 is an old JIC Magic chassis from like 15 years ago. Like, that's an old car that they just redid everything in, right? So yeah, so there's that. Von Gittin Jr. and Ryan Literal. Literal can drive, and we'll wrap through
Bubba Drift's motor is still, I think, floating around FD.
Yeah, we'll get through round 8 pretty quick because there's a couple of things that happened in the offseason that we should talk about. Travis Reeder and Justin Pollock. That feels really fair. Adam LZ and Ken Gucci. Ken Gucci has the lowest powered car in the main sponsored cars, and Adam LZ is in his S15 in this round. So you go into a round with the potential to be a barn burner. You have a championship chase that's still in effect, right? Turk and Gittin are fighting it out. If Turk can get all the way through and win the round, he has the championship, right? Anything short of that, Gittin will take it. So it's a very interesting kind of situation, right? So this is what happens. First fucking matchup of round 8. And I'm gonna give me a second while I fucking cue this thing up. Of course, there's an ad. There's always an ad. I've done all this work. I've built this shit up. I hyped it. I got us ready. And then YouTube ads fucking blue ball us. But whatever.
Hey, dude, are you still playing Destiny?
All the time.
I took a little break. I started playing this game called For Honor that I found.
The Melee game? Yeah.
It's pretty fun. I can't even lie. So I started playing that, and then I got back on Destiny like 2 weeks ago, and so much has changed.
It's so good.
Like, so much has changed, but I'm so like hardcore back into it.
It's so good. Beyond Light is so good. Dude, you just I'm gonna ask my homie Dave if I can just add you to the other Discord. So you can know what's going on, because that Discord's super active with like gamer shit. Alright, what up?
Oh yeah. I'm down.
Alright, here we go. This is John Nairn versus Ryan Turk. I'm going to run the whole battle so you guys can see this shit.
Those candlestick cones there, Ryan, but it looks like he barely would have glanced them, if at all.
If you're a fan of Ryan Turk, if you're rooting for him to win this championship, that's a pretty good way to start it.
That's where we start. It seems like Turk is set up to at least get through this round.
Yeah, he just seems like he just needs to have a good, not even like a great chase run, just a active chase run.
Active chase, yeah. Just right. Don't fall too far
Slightly
behind.
Aggressive. Yeah,
yes,
slightly aggressive.
Slightly aggressive. And we're gonna run through this, and then we'll
Turk himself.
Just watch. Just watch.
Oh.
Make sure that you eye up that area as best as you possibly can because it is the only part of the course that doesn't have a wall.
Jonathan Aaron will lead that ISR performance. S14, Ryan Turk giving chase. Look at this. Nairn gapping Ryan Turk, but this might be strategy. I think he's maybe got a little confidence here, but you can't give that much room to Nairn. He might run away with it, and then you got to think, catching up here on the inner bank. We've seen some collisions there before, but oh, look at that. Ryan Turk ducking into formation. Oh, we got contact. Oh, boy. Ryan. Some contact in the chase position, Nairn and Turk. That was not a decel area. The decel area.
If you're Ryan Turk's team, you are so mad.
Dude, I am hot.
I busted my ass swapping engines for you. I rebuilt this whole fucking car after you choked and put it in a wall, and then you get over aggressive on a chase run when your lead run blew this dude out of the water. All you had to do was be present and online, and you would have taken it. And you just choked the whole fucking championship.
Towards the end, too.
Livid. Absolutely livid. And listen, I am not saying that I am as good a driver.
Back into the pit, I'm throwing my tools in the box.
And I'm not even looking at him in the face. I won't even look you in the fucking eye. I'm so mad. There's no pats on the back. We'll get him next time, Junior. Yeah. No. Like, bro, you shit the bed.
I've taken off my Ryan Turk gear. I'm just out there in my t-shirt and my dickies. I'm cleaning up.
Yeah.
I got my headphones on. Yeah, no, I'm about to catch a flight. We're done.
No, I'm washing windows drunk as fuck until it's time to get on the plane and get the fuck out of there, dude. Like, that's it. I'm so mad.
That's what I said. I'm calling
all my knuckles are busted, bro.
Fucked up.
Like, I need to use the restroom. Talk to the folks. I'll be right back.
Oh, that's how you get out of there. I can't even see people hear them. Well, whoever's on here greatly appreciates you watching. I'm through with it. Probably somebody that's part of our group chat anyway. Excuse me. Gotta get him to get me on that other one so we can talk about these games. They play Forza. I wonder if he knows any Forza. I'll play Forza. On a line, everybody seems Sesta Corsa.
So when I tell you that...
Yeah, that was not entertaining.
When I tell you that the rest of these amazing potential matchups that we have instantly become less interesting, it's because Von Gittin Jr. just won the 2020 FD Championship. It's done. It's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now it's who wins second or third place. The winner of the event itself doesn't matter. Realistic. It matters for these dudes' careers, right? Like, you got your guys like Jeff Jones and that who come close to having their first podium, whatever.
Right. That's good for contracts and shit like that.
Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, dude, like, it's done. And
I've left a Formula D maybe around top 60 because something like this happened. Somebody crashed or got put out. the person who won the championship that year, like he didn't even have to drive anymore. He literally, like, the closest person to him put themselves out, and it was like, well, you're the points leader. Like, event's done. And I remember leaving, and the people I went with were like, yo, where are you going? I was like, dude, y'all can just text me the results. Like, I'm about to go do something else. No point in sticking around. But the event ended up being good from what they told me. It's like, oh, dude, you shouldn't have left. Like, since there was no points on the line, like, it didn't matter who won. Like, everybody was driving crazy. Like, it got insane.
And if you're there, like, and let me make this perfectly clear. There's some battles that take place after this that are fucking great. Like, you have Denofa and Essa ends up being a great one. Ends up being a barn burner. You have shit like Taguchi doesn't pass safety, can't complete against Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones gets a bye, right? Forrest versus Odie. It's not a great battle. Odie's way faster than Forsberg. That's not a Pro 1 car that Forsberg was driving, right?
Right.
And Odie is a fucking animal still, right? And now he's got 900 horsepower, so he's doing great. The Gucci versus LZ battle was good. The Reader JTP battle was really good, but they don't matter. None of this shit matters anymore. And it is an exhibition sport, but when you put it in a championship scenario, when nothing matters anymore, it's just, it's not as interesting. Like, realistically, at that point, if we were in Irwindale at that point, like, we used to go and we used to drink, but you wanted to be cognizant of what the fuck was happening because you are always wondering who's going to win, especially when you go into a round like this, when it's like coming down to this event, it's still very close between two very competent drivers, and it's, you're constantly, it's Gittin's championship to lose, but Ryan Turk is nobody to scoff at, right? And
right.
There is a strong possibility that he wins the event because he'd won 2 events already this season, and takes the whole thing. And then also you have a Vaughn Gittin Jr. who hasn't won a season in 10 years, but is a very confident, has probably one of the, it's like him and Papadakis have the biggest race teams, right? Like, you have all of the,
probably, yeah.
You have all the hype around a real title fight in FD, this really cool situation that we're going to get into, and what happens? Ryan Turk shits the bed for no reason against somebody like Jonathan Nairn. And the funniest part about that is in top 8, when it's Denofa versus Nairn has the audacity to say to Lorette that he knew what he had to do in his chase run or his lead run against Turk and got it done. Ryan Turk beat himself.
Yeah.
You didn't. No, like, you didn't beat Ryan Turk. Ryan Turk beat himself. And to go up on stage, you know what I'm saying?
Right, but I mean, that's, as an athlete, you just gotta, a win's a win, bro. If we're racing,
I'm not
trip, that's a win.
I'm not saying that
he should go up on the podium when they ask me, like, I don't care what he did. I did what I had to do. I ran. He was beating me. He tripped and fell. I kept running.
But here's my thing, though.
I know what you're saying, but it's like, he's not gonna be like, I got lucky. It's like, nah, dude. I don't
expect him to say that
ran into me.
I'm not gonna say that he got. I wouldn't say that he got lucky. I wouldn't say that. I would. If I was Jonathan Nairn,
he got lucky.
He did. But I'm saying, like, if I was Jonathan Nairn, I wouldn't go say I got lucky.
Right.
I would say, like, we competed to the best of our ability. Seems like Turk got a little caught up. Didn't, unfortunately that worked out for us. He's a great competitor. We're excited to move on to the next round. Leave it at that. But to go out there to even perpetrate.
I didn't see the interviews. So are you saying
he was like, we did that. Yeah. He's like, I fucking made that happen. No, you didn't.
It wasn't Ryan Turek biffed himself. I was such a badass driver. He had no choice but to do that. Like
to that effect. Like, you're not flat out
Oh,
saying that, but
God,
like
no.
going in that general direction, right? And and
he's
so
Chuck Norris.
yeah, and so my note for the Denofa versus Naren round is, quote, "This guy beat Turk, huh?" He's offline. He's all over the place. It's a fucking mess. Denofa goes on. Taylor Hull versus Jeff Jones. Who cares? We skipped one very important thing. And that's Taylor Hull versus Dylan Hughes. And so the long and short of it, guys, we'll this, like I said, this event is not super interesting, so we're not gonna show a bunch of clips from this one. But takeaways from this round are everybody's backup car is an S chassis, which says a lot about the S chassis. It says a lot about an S, especially S14s, particularly S14s. Still a competitive chassis.
Yeah, so competitive. I mean, look, people, everybody's still driving them.
Yeah, well, and we'll get to the one thing I know we're both thinking when I say that. JTP and Gucci go to one more time. You end up in a Denofa versus Jones, third place or top four, whatever. Denofa runs away with it. JTP Rex versus OD JTP. Jones versus JTP. Jones does a great job. Doesn't edge it out. Does a great job. Seriously, Jeff Jones, somebody give that dude a real sponsorship. He could use an actual car. Odie versus Denofa. Odie takes it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. No,
Right.
It's fucking like Vaughn. I think it ends up being Vaughn, and then Denofa, and then Turk for the season. Whatever. Vaughn wins it, right?
Right.
Let's get into that. Let's get into the post to mid-event season drama. There's only a couple things to go over here. We'll wrap this up in a couple minutes, but I need to find this battle, and it's Taylor Hull versus Dylan Hughes. Okay, here we go. Check this shit out.
And here we go, Taylor Hull, Dylan Hughes in another run, already in. Naren and Denofa. That was not good. Yeah, that got a little wonky there, Ryan. As Dylan, so Taylor Hull nice on the bank. Dylan Hughes middle of the bank. Now let's see how they handle this transition past that front clip into that mid-bank. Dylan applying the pressure, almost rubbing Achilles. Yeah, they are going into each other. Dylan Hughes throwing it into the side of that Cadillac ATS-V.
That's a soccer flop.
Thank you.
That is a World Cup soccer flop right there.
If anybody who is,
He took both those hits,
and the car was fine,
and then drove off.
I'm gonna do one better. I'm going to bring up Formula Derp. Bless that man's fucking heart. The greatest thing in Formula D right now is Formula Derp. I'm sorry. Just because his
name is hilarious.
He's critical of the sport in all the right ways. He keeps it real. He knows the rule book, so he's not just talking out of his ass.
Right.
And he's not because nobody knows who. This is the thing. The people don't. If you don't know about Formula Derp, he has press credentials. Nobody knows who he is because he does his job, and then he has an Instagram account that's completely anonymous, and nobody knows who the fuck this guy is, right? But he always gets the in-pit shots. He gets all the real shit, right? He's there. He fucking knows what's up. And most seasons, he's at all these events.
Somebody has to know. Like, I'm sure
somebody knows who he is, for sure. But
one of those other camera dudes knows. Like,
absolutely. I agree. But nobody wants to say because he was the one that called Mad Mike out when he was running the Miata with the bead looks, and he would fucking glue the tire to the inside of the bead rim. And he got called out for that because you're talking about, because they do rear tire contact patch based on weight. So because that Miata was so fucking light, he had to run a narrow ass tire. He's got a 1,200 horsepower fucking turbo 4Runner with that fucking thing.
Right.
And he would spin the tire on the wheel and debeat. So he started gluing his fucking tires inside of his wheel, which is illegal via the FD rulebook to this day. And he was the one that called it out. He even called out the weight sticker and the tire size. He was like on these motherfucker asses. Anyway, he gets this shot. Watch Taylor Hall's hands.
Oh yeah, I've seen this on his page.
So there's a hit.
There's a
And he
second hit.
turns out.
Yeah, yeah. He just totally bailed. That's not Texas right there, boy. I tell you
He
what.
just flopped. He fucking flopped. That's it.
Yeah, he did.
He just like, oh no.
He's soccer flopped.
Because you can see that Hughes is hitting him in the door. And I'm going to bring this back because it'll play again. Hughes is hitting him in the door. He does tap him on the tire, but it does not unsettle the tire. He even has the close up when he turns the wheel out.
Yeah.
Which there's no reason why you would do that in that situation. That is not like if you were trying to keep the car in drift and maintain
That's not
your
something you would have
you
done.
wouldn't turn out of the whole thing. Like all of a sudden
You would turn back into. You would have kept turning. But yeah, he totally.
he
that
just
was a
turned.
soccer flop.
Yeah, it was. He flopped it. We can't have that shit in this sport. Because, and I like Taylor Hall. I like the way he drives. Again, I like to see new dudes come up. He's got a cool style. I like his car because his chassis is different. He's a semi-privateer. He does well. Like I like that. I like all that. I like all that shit. Don't fucking drive like that. The dude hit you.
Yeah.
Right? So you have that going for you. The judges are going to know that he hit you. They give the call to Hull. No, let's dial this back. Even if that had come out and the judges caught that he turned out, right? Take that out of it. Just based on contact, they give the call to Hull, right? They say Dylan Hughes is at fault. If you would have stayed in drift, they still would have faulted Hughes for hitting you. Because you weren't decelling in a non-decel zone. You were doing what you were supposed to be doing up until that point, right? So you either push through it, look like an absolute fucking unit, right? Pushing through your lead run with this dude banging your doors, or you do what you did, which is flop it and end up in this situation. And it just seems like a bitch move, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, from a fan's point of view, yes. I could see why one would say that. From Taylor Hall and a team perspective, if I know I'm getting this win because you hit me, I don't have to finish the run. I'm getting the advantage anyway because you hit me. So I'm just gonna drive off.
I mean, I get that too.
I'm not gonna risk, like, if you did some damage to my car, I'm risk driving it. Because I mean, Forsberg does it all the time, dude. Forsberg gets tapped. He comes
and he
to like
flops.
a complete stop.
Yeah. And
to a complete stop, and then he does like this fake, like where he's warming up the tires, where he's checking to see if.
Dude,
like,
Chris Forsberg is the fucking James Harden of Formula Drift. He is the James Harden of Formula Drift, 100%.
Yeah.
And that now makes Taylor Hall a LeBron James of fucking Formula Drift. Love you, Bron, but everybody knows you're a bullshitter. It's all good. You brought that ship home though, so it's all good.
Right.
So yeah, that was a bullshit moment. So yeah, going like I said, going through top 8. Denofa beats Naren. Hull versus Jones. I didn't even write the winner down because who gives a shit. Oh, it was Jones. I think. I could be wrong.
It was like probably Jones.
It was Jones, yeah. Gittin and Odie have a banger, but it ends with putting it in the wall for the second time this weekend. He also already knew he won, right? Like, he's like, oh, I want to win the event for the RTR team. It's like, if I wreck this bitch, we have 9 months to fix it, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
if I wreck this thing, I'm still the champion, and I can call it quits now.
Right. There is something interesting that happens around this is top 8, and this is Vaughn Gittin versus Ryan Literal. And I'm only bringing this up to transition into what is going to be like our last major point for the afternoon so that everybody can go on with their lives. Jamal and I said on a previous cast that Ryan Literal needs to be in an S14.
Yeah.
He just needs to be in an S14. And this is why.
I don't think he can gain some ground. I think that.
Well, hold on. Pause it.
They're only separated by 10 points, if I can believe.
So he's going against Vaughn in this.
Mm-hmm. This is prior.
Yeah,
this
we
is
were
like
talking about
top.
that he needs to be in the S14, and now the season's over.
We'll get there. We'll get there in a second. But this will display why that point is important. That's what. If you haven't seen this run, this is
4th to 5th place.
Proof of why this man just should stay in an S chassis.
With that exit in the top 16 is going to end his run at 428 points.
Okay, here we go. Before you mention where he's at. Here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Ryan Literal, your 2020 FD champ. Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Gone.
That's it. It's over.
To get on top of the podium. And Ryan Literal trying to give him a battle here in that Power Stop Brakes GT Radial Nissan 350Z. Oh, Ryan Little straightens out. Big correction from him on that second outside zone. Getting twitchy, taking out. Oh, man, he's gone reckless. And Vaughn
He's gone reckless.
The run, but Literal.
Doesn't even matter. It
Reckless.
doesn't even matter what happens in fucking Literal's lead run. It's over.
No, not at all. Yeah.
So,
and those are the problems he's been having all year. Where it's like,
and to that point, let's check
into angle, and then he straightens out.
Let's go to Ryan Literal's Instagram real quick. Okay.
See what's up.
Let's see what the aftermath of that situation is. Oh, it's not even up anymore. Oh wait, is it? Here we go.
Yeah, it is right there.
Yep. Okay. This is the day after round 8.
Yeah.
He's selling the
Car's
car.
Up for sale.
$80K.
Yeah.
Right. And so right here, the first, what's wrong with it? This chassis is just not my bag. I need to be something more comfortable with me, aka the only chassis I've driven in my entire career up until the Sport and S14.
No. Okay, so nope.
He's always had an S chassis.
No.
You're
wrong.
What did he have?
Wrong.
What am I missing?
Ryan Literal drove in Asia and China for a few years, driving one of Vaughn's Mustangs. He was
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
That's low key where Ryan Literal came from, because like in the early years, like when everybody was getting their FD license over here, Ryan Literal did like the I'm gonna go overseas thing. I'm not gonna stay.
Oh yeah,
here.
him and Matt Field did that whole fucking thing over there. That's right. I remember that shit.
So
not Matt Field. Who's the fuck? Not Matt Field.
I forgot
the dude who had the fucking race suit with the tuxedo on it.
Yeah.
Oh, and he had a sick S14 too.
Powers.
Thank you. He did the three.
Matt Powers is stunt driving.
Matt
Powers is stunt driving.
Now. But he was competing in FD China, and he was in FD and all that shit. But
right.
But so when Ryan everybody thinks of
there, and he was competing on the indoor stuff, like the autodrome stuff, he was doing all that, but he was driving replica of the they didn't have like the Falcon livery on them, but you could tell
it was a Spec 5 RTR. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So this is the car.
This is before RTR. This is before all that came out.
See, I don't.
These were the old. That's what I'm saying. These were.
These are like the S18. Well, not 187.
S197.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's driving like the S197s, but they don't have like the tire logos and stuff. But it's the same gradient for like how Nitto and the Falcon does it. So you can tell these are Vaughn cars.
Yeah.
These are probably Vaughn demo cars that Ryan's team bought. and moved over to China, or that Vaughn left in China and Ryan's driving. But yeah, he drove those for a while, and then he came back. And when he came back, he just like went all in on his 14, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's the dude that was driving the Mustangs. Oh, his 14, like this 14 with the gold roof, is really fucking hard."
Ryan's fucking S14, 900 horsepower RB26, which is the last engine that I would pick ever, because
Yeah,
it's an. I mean, listen, RBs are sick. They sound great and all that shit, and you can make a lot of power out of them. But listen, when you can't get parts readily stateside, like I don't. Like my homie like Mike, who's on the podcast, you've never really totally met, just bought an R33 GTR, and it's fucking sick. But I'm like, bro, please don't blow your engine in the middle of nowhere's fuckingville, Arizona, because ain't nobody can help you. Like,
I mean, right. I had a conversation with Ryan Literal at I don't think it was Formula D. It may have been Formula D at Irwindale. I know we were at Irwindale, and we were talking. It was me, him, and some other people, and we were talking. And we were talking to one of my buddies, and Ryan flat out told him, like, if you're just building a car to like have fun with your homies or whatever, he's like, dude, just go LS. Like, the parts are available, they're everywhere. He's like, that's what I would do if I did it all over again. I wouldn't go RB, I'd go LS.
Yeah.
He goes, because it's just so much easier.
It is easier.
You save so much time. And you get so much more
especially
time
if you're running like turbo 5.3.
Yeah.
And like if somehow you blow through a cast iron block, you go to any junkyard in America and there's like 300 of those motherfuckers just laying around for $500. Go pull one out, have fun.
Just find the one that's already pulled out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's
that's
like
the easiest part.
And that's the thing is there's something like 500,000 vehicles that had that, like, you know, different head combinations, whatever. But if you have all the top end parts, you have your heads, you have your cams, you know, you have all that shit. And let's say you throw a rod through a block. Okay, well, you get a new set of rods. Hopefully the pistons are still good. You have pistons, you have heads, you have cams, you have lifters, you have everything else. Get that 5.3, strip it. Get your 5.3, strip it. Put the rotating assembly back together. Put all your parts on this engine other than gas, you know, the normal shit that you have to replace. You can't reuse, right? Head studs, all that shit.
Right.
And put the fucking thing back in the car and run it for another 50 events until you blow that motherfucker up, you know?
Right.
And
that should be the ultimate goal.
Seat time.
That should be the goal.
Seat time, seat time, seat time, seat time, seat time, seat time, seat time.
That's my goal.
Seat time.
Like,
seat time.
That was big reason behind building the car that I'm building. It's like, yeah, like, well, don't Mustangs, like, don't they, like, you can't get them over this much horsepower? I don't want that much horsepower.
Doesn't matter. I'm not interested.
How long does the motor last? Shit, I don't know, dude. If it don't last, I can go get one out of a cop car, a cab.
Yeah,
like anywhere. Like
they put that. Yeah, they put that 4.6 in fucking everything. You know what I mean? Like
everything.
That thing's in fucking everything.
Out of a cop car, a cab,
Explorers,
Ford Explorer,
F-150s,
some F-150s.
Yeah. No, literally, there's so much shit. It's yeah.
It's ridiculous everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And to your point, all I gotta do is change. Like, okay, just keep the heads and stuff off of my car.
Yeah.
Things off of my car that I want, my intake manifold, my heads, that stuff, and then just swap it over.
Right. And I think that's like, you know, if you're getting into a sport like drifting, where it's probably the most abusive on a car, period. Because you're driving a car the way it's not meant to be driven, to the point to where you have to highly modify the steering setup to be able to carry the amount of angle you need to even be effective, let alone competitive. Right? Cars are not designed to be driven sideways, even at 40 miles an hour with that kind of precision. Because really, you know, you go to a privateer event, you're doing 35 to 50 miles an hour. You're not doing 90, 100 miles an hour. Right? You don't have 1,200 horsepower and a full, almost tube chat. Everything other than the central part tube chassis race car. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what you're driving. But they're not designed to be driven like that. The axles aren't designed for that. The rims aren't designed for that. None of the bushings or bearings are designed for that. None of the steering system is designed. Nothing is designed for that. Because it's not how cars are supposed to be driven. So even at a very amateur level, you're beating the shit out of your car. And listen, The second that anybody at a track says you're good enough, the first thing you want to do is do it next to your homie and maybe wreck both of your cars, right? Because that's the most fun.
Right.
So if you're just a dude like you or like me, who we're not trying to compete, I just want to go have fun and like, dude, make your life easy. Don't take the high road. Don't be like, I want to stay JDM. Like, I want to K-swap something, but in my opinion, K-swapping a car is a lot of front-end work for very little front-end work, back-end and work and expense as time goes on. Do I have to make a bit more of an investment up front with the swap kit and doing all that shit? Yeah, of course I do. But that means I can buy a cheaper car up front because I don't need it to be running. I just need a shell.
Exactly.
I was going to put coils and all that shit anyway. So as long as the shell is halfway decent, I'm going to strip it, pull half the shit off of it, pay for a swap kit, and then if I blow a set of pistons, it's $400. And I only have 4 of them to replace, and I can do it in my garage because the engine weighs 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of a bitch up front. It's going to take me longer to get the car running overall, but when it's all said and done, my shit is.
But in the long term,
it's easy.
Yeah, you're throwing the car in the trailer, pulling up to the track, getting your seat time, reverse, go home.
If I break it, it's cheap. Fuck it, I'll be ready by the next event. It's all good, right?
And then the parts are really
the engine is $800 for a short block. That's with
Talking
it.
about the parts are cheap. You might as well just
keep engines lying around. Swap the whole Yeah, no, exactly. And you pay.
You got 3 engines. That's really like 5 engines because you bust 2. They're not going to break in the same way, so you swap off the good parts from.
That's actually a fucking really good point.
So you got 2 engines out of that one, and you still got a third one sitting on the side.
That's the full-on wrinkle brain move right now. We don't smooth brain out here. We wrinkle brain. Like that's true. And that's so they're like, you just have to be smart. Not every you can't be Adam LZ and build a $150,000 Pro 2 car, right? Like.
That's the thing. That's not even his first car.
It's not. No, he had the S13. He's had more. He's had a ton of. The point is like you can build a solid drift car with real quality parts on it for like $10,000 if you're smart about it.
And you should be.
And you should be.
Because unless you're trying to compete, you don't need anything more than that.
Don't paint it, wrap it, and don't pay somebody to wrap it. Spend $300 on vinyl and wrap it yourself. Don't buy a straight brand new running car.
Watch YouTube videos and wrap that thing.
When you have the car apart to do all the other shit to it, wrap the body panels. Just wrap them black. Who gives a fuck? You're trying to drive. You're not trying to look good. Nobody cares.
I mean, if that's all you're gonna do, they've got that like spray on wrap.
Oh, the plastic dip shit. Fuck. Who cares? I don't even hate.
No. Don't buy real wheels to where it looks really good. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, and I was like, did you get your car wrapped? No, so spray on. Damn. Oh yeah, I had a stencil and I did this. Like, you did a lot, but I mean, wow.
Materials were cheap. Your time is what cost you, and fuck it, it's your time. It's whatever you determine it's worth. Run fake wheels. I don't like fake wheels. I would never put fake wheels in a street car ever. No, like my STI is. When I buy a set of wheels, I expect to spend at least $2,000 on a set of wheels for my STI. That's my street car, right? It's a street car. Right. It gets canyon driven, but it doesn't get the shit beat out of it. If it's a drift car, it's getting ESRs. I don't care. Oh, it cracked. Cool. It was $90. Who gives a shit? Throw another one on. Let's fucking go, boy. Like, you know what I mean? I want everything simple. I'll spend money on tires, but even then, there's Achilles. There's a million ways to skin a cat and be cheap there. Buy a good steering wheel. Buy good harnesses.
What's the name's like? God, what's the one that everybody's running in Texas? Kendas.
Oh yeah, Kenda tires. Yeah, they're fucking.
$90.
Yeah,
to your door, a tire.
Perfect.
Like that's perfect.
$360 for a full set. Really, real talk. You only need rears. Who gives a shit? $90 sold.
Yeah,
but it's like
get you two new ones. You want the fronts to always be fresh.
You want a good clutch. You want a good shifter assembly. You want a good steering wheel, a good race seat. You want a good set of harnesses. You want a good e-brake kit. Don't suicide your brakes. Get a real e-brake kit. Like, do it the right way. It's
You can
not.
suicide your brake.
You can. I
You
don't
can-
like
you-
it.
you
I
can
like
suicide
having
your
like
brake.
very little rear bias, but I get it. You can't especially if it's only a drift car, then you can definitely get away with suiciding brakes.
That's
100%.
what I'm saying. I think you don't. You need to go dual. You need to go dual caliper if you're going into competition. If you're not going into competition, suicide your brake kit because honestly, especially if you're just learning, you don't really need to be using your hydro that much anyway. You need to be clutch kicking. You need to be doing you need to be learning your
Monging,
on the car.
No, you're right. You got it. No, that's a really good point. You and
like
and
I
do
low key,
it.
I haven't put my e-brake in the Mustang, and I low key might not. Like I was like, I might just like
No, if you're
put my e-brake in there for a little while. Like just get back to
you make a really good point. You make a really good point about that. Like that's and this goes back to like not needing a ton of power. Like going back to turbo K series, right? It's like, oh, they'll make 550. Cool. Well, I can tune it to like 350.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
can start off with 250.
Yeah, and right, or I can just flat out K swap it and have 200 and then turbo it later. And like, you know what I mean? And have low end torque so I can get used to beating the shit out of it and revving the fuck. And like you get used to clutch kicking a little bit more because you have to keep it in the revs and it'll make you a better driver. Like this, LSs make lazy drifters because you have all the
you have power.
It's sideways.
Always.
It's sideways. It's sideways. It's you know what I mean. It's not hard. And my SS was a 4,000-pound car with a bone stock LS3, and if I just went whoop, it was sideways. You know what I mean? Like that was it.
Right.
Easiest burnouts in my life. Just hit the right pedal, hold the left pedal, hit the right pedal again, and we're just gonna do this.
Gonna create smoke
in an automatic with traction control off on 285s, and I'm just fucking chilling, So
right.
But no, and I think that's important. I think it's important that YouTube and all that kind of shit will. It's really easy to get wrapped up in it, especially if you're. We were fortunate to grow up really close to this shit, really early on.
Yeah.
So we've seen the sport evolve very, very much up close. We got to go to 2 events every year without having to leave where we lived, like within 20 miles of where we lived.
Having to leave the county.
Yeah, I can go see round 1 and round.
Right, Long Beach didn't catch the bus down there.
Right, and it was great. We had a great time. So being able to see this scene progress like that, and you can really tell when the top end of the sport was really pulling away from the grassroots, and that's why you have this big separation that you have now. But yeah, you go to these grassroots events, these dudes. Yeah, you have dudes with sick ass cars, right? And then you have a vast majority of dudes with fucking missiles, but they're still having fun.
Yeah. I think at the heart of it, that's what drifting,
it's fun. Keep it fun, dude.
I'm glad it even though it's gotten to be it's getting to be a bigger sport where it's like money is becoming such a big part of it and all that. Like you still see that. Yeah, at the heart of it, when you come to grassroots events, even during COVID, which God, I hate that I'm.
Yeah.
Even during this weird time, let's say.
Yeah.
There's still tons of drifters.
Yeah.
Apple Valley, Apple Valley. You can still. I went on their website the other day just to see what their prices were and everything, which are amazing. Man,
not expensive at all.
$366 and you get a yearly pass, so you can show up to.
I mean, that's what's up.
Like on a Tuesday, if you don't hey, I'm not going to work on Tuesday. My car's done. I should just roll up.
Trailer that bitch up there.
Well, I've got my membership. I can just go.
That's sick.
$8. Yeah, you
that's
can pay your $8 tech fee, and then you're up there for the day, which a lot of tracks have. But anyway,
because there's the balcony and all that shit, right? Like you can go and fuck around there. Yeah.
Willow Springs has a membership. Yeah. So everybody has one, but it's just cool to see it. But it's just drift events are still happening on a local level, on a grassroots level, and you don't need. It's still that small grassroots mentality where it's like, I just want to get out here and have fun.
It's like skating, bro. It's like skating was back in the day. It's like skateboarding. It's like You have the
I
dudes.
wasn't really into skating, but
I mean,
I've heard the vibe.
the biggest difference is obviously the investment. Like a skateboard is like, dude, like if you're balling out on a skateboard, you're spending $300-400, right? Like it's not obviously the cost investment is not nearly the same, but at the heart of the sport, even when you get to the top level, people just like hanging with their homies and doing scumbag shit and like fucking shredding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're Ryan Turk with a fucking 700 horsepower Le Mans engine in a brand new Supra because fuck money. And sometimes you're Chris Forsberg or Von Gittin Jr. with factory backed race teams. And sometimes you're Dylan Hughes with an E36 and a Dream. And you're like, I'm gonna fucking see what's up. Or sometimes you're Animal Style. And you're like, we're just going to keep fucking doing small shit because we just want, or Risky Devil or any one of those dudes. Or fucking Sexy Nights from fucking Japan. You just want to do fucking cool shit with your homies, right? Like, yo, what if you do a 6-man drift train? That should be hot. Let's do it.
Dude, remember that shit that it was me, you, Moses.
Oh, back in the day, we were trying to pull that crazy fucking shit off. That
we were trying to pull off that
first person in is last person out. Yeah,
yeah.
But it's like that's cool, dude.
Sitting there
like,
getting drunk and going through schematics all night. Like any of us, had the capabilities to even pull that shit off.
7 people don't know. It's like, well, you need to lock up here and push through this point so that I can lock here and push through that point so that you can back out and I can come in front. And it's like, do you understand how wide of a road you need to be able to pull that off? To snake 7 cars through the same turn and change the order from 1st to 7th in the middle of the corner. But it's like, but like, that's the shit that's cool.
Yeah.
Formula D is the pinnacle of the sport. So if you like drifting, you're gonna watch it. But is it the coolest thing in drifting? No. And that's what that's what bums me out about it. Is because if you look at like F1, is F1 the pinnacle of the sport? Yes. Is it the most interesting to watch? Also, yes. I would rather watch Formula 1 than Formula 2.
Because what is there?
There's Formula 2, there's Formula 3, there's Formula 4. They're just faster and faster and faster cars. But there's so much. It is the pinnacle of the sport in every way, shape, and form. Because performance driving in that sense is inch perfect accuracy, right?
Right.
I don't consider Formula D to be the pinnacle of the sport because I don't always consider it to be an applicable definition of what the sport is at its core. Formula 1 is the best, most distilled definition of what motor racing is at its core. It's fast, accuracy, and aggression, right? Formula drifting is in a difficult position because it's different things to different people because at its core, it's an exhibition sport.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules have changed so much over the years that it's really hard to feel like what you're watching, especially in Formula D.
That would just have to do with how the rules are being made. The rules would have to be a lot more concrete, a lot clearer, and enforced in a way that it's like you feel like you're getting a consistent product every time, to where it's not like, it's the same thing with like, you can say like there are other sports that are, to a degree, they're judged sports like boxing or MMA. Like unless you knock that guy out, I've seen fights where dudes like the guy who gets his hand raised at the end.
Just say Floyd Mayweather. Just say it.
No. I'm saying the guy who gets his hand raised. I watched a UFC fight where the guy who got his hand raised at the end looked like he needed to go straight to the hospital.
Oh, gotcha.
And the guy who lost looked like me and you.
Right.
Looked like he wasn't even in the fight.
Right.
But because he didn't knock the guy out, I don't know what the judges were watching. Even Dana White was like, I don't really know. He goes, I was there. I watched the fight. Like, you guys saw the guy's face. Like,
I don't really get what just happened.
Fighting are just common sense. Yeah. But like that's what happens. I think with drifting, since the judging is since it's still a youngish sport, the judging is done in a way that it's like, I don't know who's in charge, if these are drivers who are giving input on this or what, but it still leaves a lot of room to be
It's a lot left to be desired.
and made
for
better.
sure.
A lot left to be desired to
Yeah.
where it's like you want to be a legitimate sport to where it's like, okay, unless somebody spins, like vis-a-vis like unless he gets knocked out or whatever, unless he spins, I still feel like watching this, I know what the sport's supposed to be about. And I can say, I think this driver won, and I don't feel like the judges are going to be like, no, this guy won. Like, they're not going to do some weird shit.
Well, and then you even have like the FIA who's trying to like sanction drifting, and you look at like the FIA drifters, nowhere to be seen after the first 2 rounds in the top 16.
Right.
They're just
Right.
it's too hard to put a hammer in, and I think that as we do this through the next season, we'll probably have a lot more interesting things to say about how the sport's progressing. I do think that coming out of 2020, we're going to see some interesting shit just because I think a lot more people have watched it by nature of not being able to go anywhere or not having anything to do. And I think a lot more people will take notice and kind of understand what the sport is. But I think that above all, right now, we should end the show because we've been doing this for fucking 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who watched.
Thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to everybody who will watch. Thank you to everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. We will continue to do this next season, and don't forget to catch the next episode of the RevMatch podcast. Jamal will be there. We're going to be talking more about drifting. We have most people in the pod don't know drifting like I do, and we're going to educate their monkey asses as to what the fuck this sport really means. Again, thank you for checking this out.
There we go.
And you guys have a